Well, we raised in independent media and Australian National Review, we're one of the first to raise this. That we said, and people want to say it's a conspiracy theory. Of course, they always say that, but independent media usually comes out with the truth first. We said that people will find out that the Israel conflict, that what they don't know when Israel tells you Hamas is so bad and Israel has a right to defend themselves, and October 7th, Hamas burnt baked babies in an oven, beheaded babies, raped girls, all these horribly emotive atrocities. They told you. But did you ever check the facts? If you check the facts, we said, well, one, there was no evidence found of any of those things happen. They simply didn't happen. There was no baby beheadings. There was no baking babies in the oven. There was no even rapes of girls. Yeah, but Hamas killed 1,100 Israelis on October 7th. False again. If you bothered to fact check, the large majority of those Israelis were slaughtered by Israel. The nation that's telling you to hate Hamas and that Israel is the only nation that has a right to defend itself. But also what you didn't know is who started Hamas. We told you at Australian National Review, one of the first in the world to tell you the truth. Hamas was started by Israel. Hamas was also funded by Israel. And Netanyahu has made it clear even publicly that we must continue to fund Hamas even as late as 2019. They funded Hamas to 2012. Then they had Qatar fund Hamas ever since. But don't take our word for it here at the Australian National Review. You can listen to what the ABC has to say recently on this topic.
So are you saying Benjamin Netanyahu deliberately boosted Hamas to try to prevent a Palestinian state?
Yeah, sure. He deliberately and systematically even told, is on record, whoever wants to avoid the threat of a two-state solution has to support my policy of paying protection money to the Hamas.
So what we did, with the permission of our Prime Minister, is to let Qatar to transfer a huge amount of money in cash, probably more than $1.4 billion. By doing it, we increased the power of Hamas. We did everything in order to make sure that Hamas will go on controlling Gaza, and Palestinian Authority will control the West Bank, so they will fight each other.
Netanyahu maintains the Qatar money was to avoid a humanitarian catastrophe. Having helped to build up Hamas, Netanyahu has now vowed to destroy it.
He fed the beast, and it exploded in our face. If you base your national security strategy solely on force, then you need to win 24/7 forever.
Well, there you have it. That's ABC Four Corners coming out now. A mainstream media, Australian National Review, for some time, that Hamas was originally created by Israel. It was funded by Israel up until 2012. They then had Qatar and begged Qatar to continue funding Hamas. We're talking now, as I mentioned, $1.4 billion in cash. Imagine how much cash that is. That's a lot of cash being funneled to Hamas. Why would Israel do this? Well, they do it because they have the Greater Israel Project. If you're not aware of this, Greater Israel Project is just why Israel also did September 11th. They're called false flags. Half America, or more than half America, even Western, don't realize Israel was behind September 11th. Why did they do that? It's called a false flag. Why did they do October 7th? Why did they allow Hamas and have Mossad agents within Hamas to coordinate it and allow them across the borders? Basically, stand down the border guards, take the weapons off border guards weeks before, send most of the IDF to the West Bank away from the Gaza Strip, etc., etc. Why did they do all these things? Why did they relocate 48 hours before a rave festival right to near the border where so many people could be massacred? Why did Israel do all this? Because Israel wanted October 7th to happen. They coordinated October 7th to happen. So then they can come out and lie to you as a Westerner that's naive or gullible or just too busy working, you don't know what the facts are, to have you emotionally triggered. Baby beheadings, baking babies in the ovens. They tested all these words. Raping girls particularly triggered more people. Therefore, that's why they pushed that story continually. They lied to you to hate Hamas. They wanted you to think Hamas are animals. They are terrorists. They are subhuman. Therefore, all Gazans, all Palestinians also are subhuman animals, and it's therefore okay and our right to defend to mass murder them. Because they know you wouldn't accept if Israel said, look, we want to take over Gaza, Jordan, parts of Saudi Arabia, parts of Egypt, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, get rid of Iran for the greater Israel project, and we're just going to genocide and bomb them and steal the resources. That probably wouldn't go down too well. You'd be like, hey, you can't do that. So they lie to you and tell you, oh, we're going after terrorists. Notice the terrorists seem to only occur in the countries that they wish to take. Iraq didn't have terrorists until Netanyahu was the one that pushed for the Iraq war, remember? And guess what? We now know the Iraq war was based on lies. All Vietnam War was based on lies. World War I, World War II were based on lies. They're all based on lies because these liars, overlords of Israel, want war. That's how it's theft, genocide. So that's why they did September 11, because they needed the American people emotionally triggered. They needed a mass casualty event that the whole world would be in a state of fear and shock. And then when you're in a state of fear and shock, they can tell you anything and you don't question it. All of a sudden, you're just glued to the TV and you believe whatever's on the TV. Just like during COVID, they got you so scared. Oh my God, everyone's going to die. This global pandemic, it's the worst pandemic since the Spanish flu, apparently. Despite not any of us seeing anyone drop dead from it in our streets. And so all the people they claimed to have died turned out to be fictitious. 96% of them didn't die of COVID. They were just rebranding deaths, flu deaths, etc., as COVID. So the point being, they need to emotionally trigger to manipulate you. Israel's manipulating you. They want you to think they're not genociding and mass murdering and wanting to destroy Gaza so they can boot out the Palestinians and take it all over, as they're actually doing, Lebanon, etc. What they want you to think is they're going after terrorists, and these terrorists are bad and Israel's good. And actually, these terrorists are so bad, if you don't support Israel, these terrorists are going to come knocking on your door and kill your kids. That's pretty much it, right? It's a mafia tactic, folks. Israel started ISIS. Israel started Hamas. They fund them. Without them, they can't achieve their political objectives. That's not me saying it, that's Netanyahu. So there you have, folks.